The goal of this video is to give you an overview of how the laser engraver works and the software that you're going to use to do your engraving. So this is the laser engraver setup. I'm going to take us a little closer here so we can see what's going on with this. Alright, so here's the laptop that you're going to use to do this, and you can see that there's a rectangle in this. I'll zoom in here so you can get a little bit better look at this. And that rectangle that is in the center, that's the default document for the laser engraver. It's 24 inches across by 12 inches in height, and that corresponds to the size of the laser engraver bed. So if you look over here, that is 24 inches across and 12 inches high. And you can see that strip of birch on the top is 2 inches wide, which is going to be engraved into a number of different magnets. So here I'm going to go back to the computer to show you how you can import your files and how you can resize them and get them ready. So get the camera situated here. Alright. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find my file, and I am going to import it into this document by dragging it in. So first what I'm going to do is find my folder that is under the Google Drive, under shared folders, and then I'm going to find my class. So let's say I'm in period 1. I uploaded my image or images from my iPad to that shared folder, and I've named it so I can identify it. So JG is my initials, and it's a Minnesota. And all I'm going to do is have that window open on top of Inkscape, which is the software we'll use to do our final editing, and I'm just going to drag that in and drop it on top. So a message comes up here, and you just hit OK. And then there is our document. But you can see it's much too big right now. It's probably about 12 inches high, and we want to shrink this down. So the reason I have the camera here pointed at the whole computer is then you can see exactly what buttons I'm pushing in order to get this to work. So what I'm going to do first is I am going to drag this up here into this corner, and then I'm going to resize this. So if I just grab onto one of these corners and I start to resize it, it doesn't keep the ratio, the aspect ratio, locked. So Minnesota doesn't look like that, so I don't want that. So I'm going to undo that. I'll hit Control Z on the keyboard, or I could hit undo up here. So the way that you keep the aspect ratio locked, you have a couple of ways you can do it. You can hit this little lock here, or you can just hold the Control key. So if you see down here in the bottom of the screen, I'm holding the Control key, and I can move this, and it keeps the height and the width constrained to each other. And then I can lift up on the Control key, I can get it into position up in that corner, and then there it is. So if I want to zoom in on this, so if you look over here, I'm scrolling in and out, it just moves this up and down. So again, what I want to do is hold down the Control key here, and as I hold the Control key and then with the wheel scroll in, I'm able to zoom in on wherever the cursor is. So I want my Minnesota to be in between here and here, which is the 2-inch strip that I have over here. That's 2 inches in height, so that's where I want my Minnesota. So you can see I need to reposition this so it's up at the top here, hold down the Control key, and make that go almost down to that bottom line. So it takes a little bit of time to shift it into place, and I want to make sure it's not off the edge here. I'll actually add another guideline here to help with that. So that would be about where I want it in order to have it engraved. So the engraver works like a printer. So once you have this in position and you have it sized, so notice it's up here in the top left corner, and if we look over here at the laser engraver, the wood piece I'm going to want to push over into the same corner. So that corresponds to that corner over on the screen, and it's 2 inches tall. That's going to be ready to go. So I'm going to carefully close the cover, and then I'll send it over to the laser engraver. So like I said, it works like a printer, so you go to the print menu, and what comes up here is a couple of options, and the name of the laser engraver is the M300, and the settings should be set for you, and all you do is hit print. So it doesn't actually do anything. What it does is it sends that information over to the laser engraver, which I'll zoom out here so you can see how we're going to do this. And what we have to do is in this menu right here, we have to find that file. So I'll zoom in on this so you can get a better look at it. It's not on the right menu. I'll hit the escape button here until I get back to what I want. So you can see here there is a file name, and that's not the one I want. So I'm going to look for mine by pressing the next file button, which is right here, until I see the one that I want. So there it is. It's print magnet. That's the one I want, and the settings are correct. It's a power of 100 and a speed of 60. And when that's my file, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the start button, and it's going to start. So it'll start engraving here. There's one other important step that I waited to do, which is this on switch right here. And what that does is it sucks all the smoke out. So I'll zoom in here so we can see what's going on. And you can see it's starting to print by burning with a laser just the top of the Minnesota. Alright, now that I'm done, I can go ahead and carefully lift this up and take this out, and you can see what is on the wood should correspond to what is on the computer. And there it is.